from Aussie Maille here. Thank you for joining us tonight for our live stream. Tonight we're doing Byzanclean, which is a weave that was originally designed by Red Panda. Yep, coming through?
Coming through loud and clear.
Excellent, beautiful. You had me worried there for a minute. All right. Hey, Cheryl. Good to see you. Hey, Susie. Hey, Kim.
Yeah, shh, everyone.
Stop wagging your fingers around.
I told you I'm feeling sassy tonight.
That's nothing unusual. Hey, everyone. Hey, Lisa. How you going? Cassandra. Hey, Kate. All right. How are we all going tonight? Good. Sorry about last week. My husband is a drama queen. Likes the attention. Wasn't getting enough, apparently. So I had to throw a whole big tizzy. But we've made it here tonight. Hey everyone. Hey Mordrith and Julie. Megan. Hey Shirley. Hey Amy. Nice to see you from Oklahoma. What time is it in Oklahoma? Please don't sing, babe. Yeah, he's all right. He's fine. It's all about Chris, you know. Yeah, don't I know it, Susie? How many years is it now? 29?
Ooh, something like that.
29 years? It's always been about Chris. I'm just the tag along. All right, lovely peeps. Well, we might jump into this and then we can have a chat once the tutorial is all out of the way. So I'll just transfer this over to the other camera and we will get started. Okay, so we've got a couple of sample pieces. This one is 14 gauge and 18 gauge AWG. So 14 gauge or 1.6 millimeter is the BA rings, and they're 1/4 of an inch or 6.35 millimeters. And the 18 gauge are the anodized rings here in the middle, and these ones are 5/32 or 3.97 mils. So that's quite a big chunky bracelet. So if you like the thicker look, that's the one to go for. And a slightly more delicate look is our 16 and 20 gauge version. So 16 gauge is 1.2 millimeter wire, and the large BA rings are 3/16 of an inch or 4.76 millimeter ID. 20 gauge for the anodized rings, and their ring ID is 1/8 of an inch or 3.18 millimeter. And that one's a much more delicate look. And so that's the bracelet, and this was the little earring that the Maille Club members got as part of their kits. Okay, so we'll make a start on this. All right, so Byzanclean is basically a helm and Byzantine hybrid. So what we're going to do to start this is just make some little sections. And to do that, we take 2 of our pre-closed large rings. You need 2, well, you don't need them, but that's the way I like to do it. 2 pre-closed ones for each unit that we make up. Pop that onto an opened ring of the same size. Double that up. So we've now got a chain of 2 and 2 in our large rings. Then we want to grab one of our anodized rings. Okay, so this is our 18 gauge 5/32, and we want to put that through one of our pairs of large rings, and we want to double that up so that we've got 2 AA rings coming off. So at this moment, you know, we're looking a little Byzantine, a little helm. Now we're going to continue making a helm piece. So to do that, we take up another open large ring and we want to bring it between the last pair of large rings. Sorry, I got cat hair. Through this last pair of large rings, so we go between them. We're not going into those rings at all, we're just being sandwiched in between. So that it goes out the other side, it comes up and encircles the coloured rings there. So just like you would for a helm. Okay, now the rings are starting to feel a little tight, and this is normal for this weave. Okay, so don't be too stressed out if this is happening. The weave came about when she was actually trying to do helm but had the wrong size rings, so it is a little tight. Next we take one of our large open rings, we go through the coloured rings there on one side. We want to flip our work over, grab another open ring, go through those same coloured rings. As you can see, it is tight, and close it up. So you see here that we've got these end rings here, and they're quite a distance apart. To alleviate that pressure, we can just fold this first pair of rings, and it allows us to, this side here, to close down a little bit, and we can pop our last pair, sorry, of large rings in our unit. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, so this is one basic unit. It really wants to be Byzantine, so don't fight it. That's what it wants to be, so that's, that's what it needs to be. You need to make up several of these units to make the bracelet. It's easier to just make the units up and then join them. So, I mean, that's my preference. That's the way I do it. You may find your mileage varies. Whatever works for you guys. So again, I'm just going to quickly make up another unit. So 2 pre-closed onto 1 opened. Double up that opened ring. Double up that ring so that we've got a chain of 2 and 2. Okay. And then grabbing our AA ring, we go through the end pair of rings and we double that anodized ring up. Okay, so this is what our work currently looks like. So we've got the 2 big rings and the 1 small ring. We now want to put the orbiting ring in place. So to do that, we slip it between the second pair of large rings. So it just goes straight between them. It doesn't go through them in any way. Make sure it comes back up around and encircles the small rings. I'm having a little trouble. There we go. Okay, close that ring up. So you can see that ring doesn't go through anything at all. It just goes in between that pair of large rings. And then we want to take another large ring, feed it through the anodized rings there, close it up, flip our work over to the other side, and again things are starting to tighten up again. So feed that ring through, close it up. Okay, and to place our last 2 rings here, to relieve the tension, we're going to fold our first pair of rings like we would if they were Byzantine. That helps relieve this tension here on this end that we're working on. And we want to feed our final 2 rings through here. So there's 1. And 2. Okay, and we've got another unit made up. So once you've got all your units that you need, we then want to join them together. And the easy way to do that is just take up one unit, feed an opened large ring through the end like you would with Byzantine. And before closing that ring, take up another unit, make sure the ends are folded back so it looks like a Byzantine unit, and go through the rings there. Close it up. And I prefer to repeat with a second ring. Just because everything else is in pairs. Or nearly everything else. And then in there and close that ring up. So you just keep doing that for the length of your bracelet until you've got the length that you need. And then to finish off the ends, just put another 2 pairs of small rings in as you would, and then your clasp attachments. And that's it. Lovely, quick, but effective weave.
So wow, you made that look easy.
So did everybody get that? I mean, it's fairly easy to do, but I'm happy to go over it again if anybody needs me to. Otherwise, that's it. Byzantine, combination of helm and Byzantine. I don't know where the Byzantine came from. Helm and Byzantine doesn't sound like Byzantine, but there you go.
No.
I didn't name it. Okay, is everybody fine with that? Do you need me to do it again, or was that easy to understand? I know a couple of people that have got the kits have done it already since we missed last week, so sorry about that. One more time, Megan? All right, no problem. I just need to grab some rings. Okay, so you want, or as I said, can I make it smaller than the ring sizes that I told you, Lisa? Is that what you're saying? Because the only reason I haven't gone any smaller is because the weave uses rings that are 2 gauges away apart from each other, and I don't have anything smaller. Well, I have 22 gauge, but I don't have rings that are 2 gauges smaller than 20. So I didn't go down any smaller. I mean, you can play with the ring IDs and the gauges and see what you can get to work. But this is the one that I liked. They were the sizes that I was happy with. I did play around with a few sizes trying to get it all to balance out properly. So I haven't got any other smaller sizes, Lisa. All I can say is give it a go and let us know. Okay, so you've got a chain of two large rings. Okay, the next one you want to put in place is one of your small AA rings. Just stick that on the end, continuing the chain, doubling it up as we go. Okay, so now we've got 2 large, 2 large, 2 small rings. We want to take up another large ring, and this time we're going to put the orbiting ring in place. And to do that, we want to go between this second pair of large rings here in our piece. We don't go through any rings, we just slip this in between those 2 rings that are there. Make sure it comes out the other side so that it comes up around the small rings. We want it to orbit the small rings. We don't want it to go through anything. It just gets squished in there, held in place by the rings sitting on either side of it. And then once you've got those rings in place, oops, take up another large ring, feed it through the small rings on the end there, on one side of the orbiting ring, close that up. Flip your work over to the other side. We want to place a ring on the other side in the same spot. This one might be a bit trickier to place as the weave starts to tighten up. Okay, so this is what we've got now. You can see that these rings here are quite a distance apart from each other. So to release that, we want to fold our first pair of rings back like you would in Byzantine. That allows this to close down a little bit and allows us to place our next pair of rings. So our next pair of rings just go straight through the last pair. So double that up. Okay. And they just want to naturally fold back into Byzantine, which is what we want them to do, so that's great. And then to join this unit to your chain, you just take up another large ring. Like you would with Byzantine, you put it through these middle rings here, and before you close it, you put it through the corresponding middle rings on the last piece in your chain. You close it up and repeat with a second ring. Okay, oh, where am I? There we are. So just go through and join them up with a second ring. You can leave it as a single if that's your preference. I've just doubled it up because it's Byzantine and everything is doubled. Okay.
Doubling up makes it a bit firmer too, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, doubling it up makes it that little bit stronger. Tight. It doesn't so much tighten it up because the tension's already set in place, because it's the tension in the rings. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really tighten the weave up that much, but it does provide a more stable, stronger chain.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it, guys. As I said, I've only got the 2 gauge sizes, 14 and 18 gauge and 16 and 20 gauge. I don't have any other sizes. My suggestion is have a play, see what you do. The original called for the 2 gauge difference, so that's what I stuck with. Does the smaller gauge get as tight as this one does? Oh, you're asking me to remember something I did weeks ago. I want to say yes, kinda. It certainly acts the same way. Sorry, I've got to... Excuse me. It certainly acts the same way. It's... The sizes are deliberately small. That's what creates the weave. So there is that tension all the way through. It's meant to be tight, basically. Okay. Megan, is that fine, darling?
Yes.
Yep. Oh, good.
She said
Sweet.
thank you.
I see. Beautiful. All right. Oh, God, I'm a klutz tonight. Don't worry about me. All right. So that's it.
Easy, quick one tonight.
Yep. As I said, I suspect a lot of them have
You could
done
have
it
done
up
that
already.
last week without me. You didn't need me here.
Well, it's not that I needed you here. I was in hospital with you. Good grief. Okay, so as I said, that's it. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Sorry about last week. We had hoped we'd get out in time, but
Unfortunately not.
I didn't leave until 11 o'clock that night, so there we go. Chris has just handed me this.
Kerry?
Oh, for Kerry. Kerry, he wants to show you what he's done. Looking good, hey? So you can see what Chris has been doing all week. So he's almost there. How many rows is that, babe?
38, I think.
38.
38, 39.
Beautiful.
Cheers.
Hey Rosie, glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, he's been just sitting at the desk, mailing up a storm. Still no swearing.
While
so.
I've been convalescing.
Convalescing. Speed mailer.
Yes.
Yes. He's coming along nicely. Hopefully it'll be done end of the week, babe. End of next week.
A little sooner than that, I hope.
2 rows a day. That's working out about the end of next week. Okay. So just a couple of things. So next week will be another new weave because of this would have been a repeat weave this week, but because of last week we didn't do it. So next week is 1 ring. I'll be doing that. MailleCon news. We've got a few.
A few of the classes
Classes are starting to fill up. The morning GSG, Saturday morning GSG class only has 2 places left for those that are interested in doing that weave. And there's a couple of others that have only got 3 places left, I believe.
Yep. The Hoodoo Hex on Sunday.
Which one?
Sunday morning.
Which one?
The Circle.
The Circle. Circle Pendant Sunday morning is starting to look booked out.
Same with the Chasing Rainbows Day 1.
And Chasing Rainbows on day 1 is starting to book out. So if you're wanting to get those classes, peeps, you might want to think about jumping on that sooner rather than later.
And once they're booked out, we'll update the website to say that they're booked out,
that they're booked out.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, so you won't be able to, the classes will be closed down, you won't be able to book into them. Maille Club is open. 4 days. 4 days left to sign up for Maille Club. Of course, the back catalogue is always open, so thank you to everybody that signed up for the back catalogue and Maille Club recently. I hope you guys are enjoying the back catalogue. And anything else?
That's the main stuff, apart from maybe some stock arriving soon, we hope.
Yeah, we got a really big stock order in place. I had kind of hoped it was on its way, but I discovered today it hasn't even been sent yet. So if you are waiting on AA stock especially, bear with us. We do have a very large order coming, but it's taking a little bit longer to get here than we would think. Oh, and of course the Bead and Buy in September. Can't forget the Bead and Buy in September,
absolutely.
guys.
It's going to be great.
We'll be at Ride for those that want to come along and have a chat. It's a pretty laid back day. From what I can gather, they set tables out and they encourage people to stay all day and bead or mail in our case. So, you know, if you guys want to have perhaps a little get together, mailers get together, that might be a really good day to organise it if you guys are interested. We'll be there with just kits and tools. We're not bringing rings or anything. If you are coming though, we can, if you pay for an order in advance, we can bring it along. If you're coming, save yourself a little bit on postage, but you do have to give us, you know, a few days notice for that because we will be busy packing everything and getting kits and that made. So don't put an order in at midnight the night before and expect us to bring it. It won't be happening. All right.
So I'll put the link into the Bead and Buy website so people know where to go. And
Yep. All the details are on the Bead and Buy website, the address and the date and times and all the rest of it. But yeah, that's coming up in September. And that's it, unless anybody's got anything they want to ask us or talk about, or have I forgotten something? Yeah, anybody?
No, sadly we're coming to the end.
Coming to the end? Dinner time.
Feeling a bit hungry.
Oh, that's good. Makes a nice change.
I know, right?
All right, lovelies. Well, no one seems to have anything else unless I'm way ahead of everybody? Oh, seriously? Same weekend as the St. Ives Medieval Fair?
Yeah.
Oh. Bum. Oh, that's right. I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't really good planning on their behalf for us, was it? All right. Okay. All right. Well, we'll call it quits then, guys. If no one else has any questions or anything. How many places left, Margaret? Is you talking about MailCon or you're talking something else? Oh, that's not good, Cassandra. Working on the inlay.
Plenty of places for Malcolm.
Yeah, there's plenty of places left in MailCon. Plenty of places, basically. We haven't reached our minimum yet, so there's plenty of places left. Just some of the particular classes are closing down. So your choices will become limited the longer you leave it, basically. But there are still plenty of places for everybody to come along. All right, lovelies. Thank you very much for persevering with us and for your patience for last week. And we will catch up with you guys through the week at Aussie Mailers. And we'll see you next week for One Ring. All right, guys. Thanks very much. All right. Mwah. Take care. Bye.